Hello out there. I hope you are doing well. My name is Flo, and this is the Grape Jolly Library, where we love to talk about books. It is Friday evening, and it is rather chilly where I come from, and I'm not minding it because I am in a very domesticated mood this evening. I am happy and content, just muddling around the house, doing things. It's Friday evening, so we drink a little wine on Friday evenings to set the mood, or to just, kick back, relax, enjoy our environment as we mosey along, the property. But I call it the property because they say, I read a book, they say you should name your house. And I do have names for the rooms of my house. I've just never officially given my house a name. So right now it's the property until I could come up with a good name. I don't care for that too much, but actually, it's horrible, isn't it? But I haven't, I read this book, oh my goodness, 20 years ago, and I still haven't sat down to conjure up a name for my house. I should probably do that because I feel like it's fun and I like fun things. But anyways, I got out of work around 3-ish today, and I stopped at a local department store that's on the way to my house to see if they had teacups. I am big on having a saucer underneath my teacup, and I only have one teacup with a saucer. My other teacup does not, and for whatever reason, that aggravates me. I love the teacup itself, but that it doesn't have a saucer bugs me. Something about law and order in my mind. So I thought I would stop and see, because they usually do. They don't now. I don't know if they're just not stocking them anymore, but there wasn't a tea cup or saucer to be found. There was kettles and teapots, but no cups or saucers. So that's all right. We came home and we settled for wine. We like to drink wine on Friday nights. Kick back, relax, just mosey along within the house and do whatever it is that strikes my fancy. Now, do not follow my lead with the drinking of the wine, because I will lead you down the wrong path. We will end up being a rebel with no cause. We will do shit like dust coffee tables and run vacuum cleaners and play 2-3 rounds of Pac-Man. We will carry tons and tons of books that we are discarding from the library. I'm not kidding you. I think I'm getting rid of about 50 books or better. So that was a lot of trips up and down the steps. We rearranged some things within the house, swept a couple things. We just did rebellious stuff. And next on the agenda after I finish this video is to listen to an Audible book while I crochet. Oh, I'm just terrible, aren't I? Anyways, today we are going to talk about the 3 books that arrived in the mail for Horror Mayhem, which runs all month long during the month of May. So I did not participate in this last year, and I decided that it would be a fun thing to do And you don't have to read horror all month long. You can read a book, or you can read all month long, or you can read 2 books or 5 books or whatever works for you. So I decided I was going to do 3 books, 1 in the beginning of the month, 1 in the middle of the month, and 1 to close the month out. They are all related to the same subject matter. I figured I could find horror on my shelf, but none of them except for 1, and it Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. I read that maybe 2 years ago, but I read it because it is a subject that, is near and dear to my heart. How can a horror subject, a horror novel, be near and dear to your heart? Well, it is. The subject that I love to talk about is haunted houses. I love haunted houses. If there are any entities in my very old house, my house is about 100 years old. If there are any entities within my house, please stay at bay. The only time I have ever felt out of my skin was when my grandmother passed away, and we went to her viewing. And at that time, I had 3 dogs. And me and my husband and my son walked in the kitchen. And my house is set up weird. It is a house, a 3-story house, but there's an addition that was built on that was a candy store turned into an apartment. And then I just turned the apartment side into one big giant kitchen. And then off of that, an office, and then the bathroom. So we were all standing in the kitchen, which means the other side of the house, which you can see, over into, was completely dark because nobody was home and we didn't leave any lights on. All 3 dogs looked over into the dark living room on the other side of the house and just barked and barked and barked and barked. And my husband, my son, and I all just looked over and we're like, what do they see? It's completely dark. You know what they say about animals and children. What they saw, I'll never know, but they definitely saw something or felt something. I'm going to say they saw something because they were all looking in the same direction. Other than that, I've had no, oh goodness gracious. This subject scares me a little bit. And there are times where my husband goes to Atlantic City and I'm not a traveler, so I do not follow. And when he is gone, I am not kidding you, every light in the house is on and stays on. Every light. I love the story of haunted houses because I am by heart an interior designer, an interior decorator. That is my passion in life. I love to do that sort of thing, decorate, paint, wallpaper, things just seem to come natural to me in that way. And I love to do it. I get excited as, things start to make sense as we're bringing things to life. I like color. I like to play with textures and mix, match, and just get different vibes and feels and go with it. So that's why I love a house. I love when there have been a few houses that I have gone into that, you know, have spoken to me. They were empty, abandoned houses, and there were boxes packed with colorings from children. Maybe a set of curtains were still on the window. The paint was definitely on the wall still, or the wallpaper. And I couldn't help myself but picture the life that once was in the house. Was there a gentleman in the house, and what was he like? Was he a pipe smoker? Was he a drinker? Was he a coal miner? Was he a businessman? Was he lovable? Was he disgruntled? And what was the wife like? What were the children like? Just what was life like on a daily basis? I try to envision that, and I don't know. I don't know. I just like to do that. I like history. So that's why did I say too much? Am I rambling? I think I'm rambling. It's the wine. I'm usually an introvert, but that wine will blah, 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 blah. But anyways, here are the books that arrived in the mail for me within the last 2 weeks. My Canadian friends, Shannon from Shannon's Bookish Musings and Music, and Fred from the book channel Read by Fred. They are both my Canadian friends, and you should go over and check their channel out, give them likes and subscribes, show them support, and while you're at it, please give this channel a like and a subscribe. I would appreciate it so much. Okay, this is Haunted. Now, all of these books were personally chosen by me. The incredible true story of a Canadian family's experience living in a haunted house by Dora L. Williams. And I'm just going to read this because they will do a better job than I can do right now, being that I have not read it. It was an irrational decision despite having just moved into a beautiful new house. The Williams family gave in to an odd, overwhelming desire to purchase a Victorian home they had come upon by chance. They were curious, of course, as to why the house had such a high vacancy rate. No one ever seemed to live in it for a long period of time, but shortly after moving in, strange things began to happen, and it became abundantly clear that the home's past owners all had a reason for leaving: fear. The Williamses' new home was haunted. At first, the family tried telling themselves there were logical explanations for the strange things they all were witnessing, but before long, they came to accept the fact that they were sharing their home with ghosts. Haunted is the Williams family's story from the point of view of the mother, Dora. Through her chilling reminiscences, we join the family as they seek a way to bring an end to the paranormal activity that occurs with ever more frequency and intensity, and learn why the events began in the first place. The second one is by Deborah Pickman. It is The Sallie House Haunting, a True Story. Now, this is the one I debated whether I should or shouldn't. And then I leaned towards, heck no, Floss. Move away, move along, keep shopping. But something drew me back at least twice. So I decided to, try and get past this one point that I know I'm going to have a hard time with. I think this is the book. Okay, this thing started to move closer to me, and as it did, I could make out more details. Her hand was covered in a long black lace glove. As it got within inches of my face, I saw a blackbird on her finger. I struggled out of bed and over to the door, but I couldn't get the door open. The real story behind one family's paranormal nightmare. Oh boy. This is the first-hand account of what Tony and Deborah Pickman and their, newborn son Taylor experienced in the now notorious Sallie house, from the day they moved into the turn-of-the-century home until they finally fled in terror. The story of the Sallie house and the fire-starting ghost girl who haunted it has sparked endless rumors and theories of murder, cover-ups, racism, and abuse. But the Pickmans know the real story because they lived it and barely made it out alive. Now, for the first time, Tony and Deborah reveal untold stories from their ordeal. They describe Sallie's seemingly protective fascination with their baby. That's the part that I don't know if I can do. And tell what it was like to live with menacing entities that scratched, bit, and terrorized their family. Along with historical research, the Pickmans share personal photographs and journal entries from their time spent living in the nightmare house that still haunts them today. Yeah, I don't know what I'm getting myself into. 3 years ago, I read I can never say this word, so pardon me. Amityville, there we go, horror. And I thought that I was really going to be spooked and scared with that. I wasn't. This one, I think, is going to do me in. I'm afraid of that book. My last book is Stalks, The Mansion, a true story of one family's ghostly adventure. Constance Westbie and Harold Cameron. I might have overdone it by choosing the same subject matter. I might have bit off more than I could chew. Harold Cameron had no reason to believe in the supernatural until he moved into the house on Plumtree Lane. Stalks, The Mansion, recounts a Philadelphia family's encounter with a supernatural presence in their 18th century mansion on Plumtree Lane and the events that became common occurrences. Footsteps at night, opening doors, strange sounds, suffocating smells, and feelings of dread that centered around the library. Their ensuing investigation into these events unearths the mansion's tragic past and changes their beliefs in the supernatural world. The late Constance Westbie won the 1977 National Writers Club Award for Nonfiction for her collaboration with the late Harold Cameron in writing Stalks, The Mansion. Harold Cameron and his family lived in the house on Plumtree Lane for almost 2 years. Oh, a whole 2 years, you say, huh? Yikes. My horror fans out there, I don't know how you do it because I'm a little bit of a, this ain't Scooby-Doo we're talking about here. And I am a lot of a scary cat. So, oh my goodness. Wish me luck. Until my next video, know that I love you. Be well, be good, be reading, and may all your book dreams come true.